Oh, you thought I was going to stop talking about this because the show is over? I won't, because the show is over, but my questions are not. They are not. And my thirst for blood, for Gilead blood, is not. So today we're going to be talking about testaments. What we know so far, what we can assume is going to happen, what's the story in the book and how it can change in the show, and what I think potentially will happen and what I want to happen. Hello everyone, welcome or welcome back to the channel of Delusional Theories. Wow, my name, I forgot the letter M there for a second, but my name is Joe, and today I'm going to talk about the Testaments and potentially a TV show that will come out next year. From everything that I've been seeing, they are already filming, so eventually the show is going to go into post-production, which should not take that long. So I'm confident that spring 2026 we're gonna have first season of the Testaments, and you know what? I'm gonna say it right now. I didn't see any mention to this in any news piece or whatever, but I hope this isn't a 6-season TV show. Like, we can't take it. I'm sorry, but I'm not gonna wait for another potential decade to see Gilead burn down. You better, like, 2 seasons, 3 tops. 3 tops. If it goes over 3 seasons, I will be hate watching it. So I don't want to get there. But yeah, this is going to be the sequel spin-off of The Handmaid's Tale that is inspired by the second book in this world written by Margaret Atwood, which is The Testament. This show, from everything that I know, has been kind of given the okay from Margaret Atwood, from Elizabeth Moss. I always have a hard time saying that name, Elizabeth Moss, and like generally the feel, the vibe that I get for the Testaments is that the people who are involved with The Handmaid's Tale are good with the Testament, and the creator is the same. A lot of the team is going to transfer to the Testament. There's going to be some cast that there was in The Handmaid's Tale that will be in the Testament, and a lot of new actors are going to join the cast. But I mean, the main person that we've been discussing for this last final season that will transfer into the Testaments, that will be a major character, is Aunt Lydia. And this is one of my biggest problems, and I feel like it's one of the biggest problems for everyone, is how are they going to give Aunt Lydia another position of power, like enough power that she will be able to be in contact with Hannah, potentially be in a school or in a red center where she meets Anna. How are they going to give her that much power after she has, publicly rebelled against Gilead? Because, I mean, there's no way that every single guard and every single guardian and every single person loyal to Gilead that was there in Boston that day is dead or joined the resistance. There's no way that no one escaped with the information. So, and also, I was confused in the Handmaid's Tale finale about this. I'm confused still how Aunt Lydia managed to get the kid back to Janine. And I mean, I like the theory that they can say the rebels got to them and took her and whatever. But I mean, there's a guard driving that car. It could be a loyal guard. Whatever. That, I think, is the biggest issue. How are they going to trust Aunt Lydia again? How are they going to put her in a school for ants or potentially a red center later again after she clearly betrayed Gilead? How is she going to be able to infiltrate Gilead as an ally to the revolution, to either Mayday or Mark? I'm assuming she's going to be working a lot more with the US Army than with Mayday. But I mean, that would be different from the book, because in the book she works with Mayday, but also in The Handmaid's Tale, they don't really mention the US Army. I don't think. It's always Mayday. So maybe that's one of the changes they will make for the Testaments, is that Aunt Lydia is going to be an informant to the US Army, because at this point the US Army and Mayday are kind of, but not really. They're still separate entities. So much so that in the finale of The Handmaid's Tale, we see that Luke is aligning with Mayday and that June is aligning with the US Army. So I kind of have an idea of what's going to happen, that Lydia will still be in a position of power. And I think, because I was trying to figure out how it would make sense in the world of Gilead, where these commanders and this system are so strict in punishing people and in making sure they can control everyone they have in there. How would they have completely zero doubts about Lydia, that they would be willing to put her back in service? And I mean, I think one of the points is that we're not going to immediately see Lydia, because I think Anna only meets Lydia when she's already an aunt. And before she's an aunt, she's a wife, and she goes through a lot of shenanigans. And only after she finds out she's June's daughter, or remembers, or whatever, I don't know how they're going to do in the show, only after that does she decide to join and be an aunt, because she finds out about corruption in Gilead or something, and she's like going to expose them. I haven't read the book yet, but I will. So I think that Aunt Lydia is going to meet Anna at a later point in the story. I'm hoping that the season opens with Hannah and we follow Hannah through it, and we get reintroduced to this world through Anna's point of view. But if Aunt Lydia really is meeting her later, maybe they have her in a way that they will, I don't know, question her or make sure that she isn't loyal to the rebels, to Mayday or the US Army, that they will keep her contained somehow until they can make sure that she's trustworthy. This is one of the things I was thinking that could make some sense. But another thing is, Anna is well known. I mean, I'm not sure if this is the case in the book. It is the case in the show, and they are going to, adapt the book to fit the Handmaid's Tale show and continue on from then. So in the show, Hannah is well known as June's daughter. Like, everyone knows that she's June's daughter. Everyone knows that June is after Hannah. Like, I'm pretty sure her parents know that Hannah is June's daughter. So Gilead is streaky. Gilead can play really dirty. So I don't see how they wouldn't use Hannah to get to June, because they must know. They must know that June and Luke are going to go after their daughter, and that's going to be their mission. Like, they're going to pave the way to get to Hannah. Like, Gilead must know this. Like, they're not idiots. So I'm thinking that they are going to use Hannah in whichever capacity they can without, alerting her to it. I think they're going to use Hannah to get to June, to Mayday, to Luke, and to the US Army. I think that maybe Aunt Lydia is allowed to return as a person in a position of power, an aunt in Gilead, because they are going to be spying on her. They're going to be tracking her movements, seeing what she does, seeing if she plans anything with the US Army or with Mayday, because Hannah is the best way for Gilead to get to June and to get to the rebellion as a consequence, I guess. Because we also have to think, what's their strategy now? Like, how are they going to deal with this? Because the only thing we heard is that a bunch of commanders from the finale, the only thing we heard is that a bunch of commanders are going to be transferred to DC. And that Hannah is going to DC with the Mackenzies. So Hannah's going to be in DC, and I think originally the book takes place in Boston. I don't know how it's going to be. Like, the TV show, The Testaments, is 4 years in the future, so Hannah's going to be like 16, 17, something like that. And if it is in the same place where she is now, it's in DC. And I mean, what can Aunt Lydia do in Boston anymore? They took it, so it has to be in DC. And they have to have a plan to retake Boston. And if they can get to June, they can get to Mark and the US Army. I feel like this would be a viable, path for Gilead. Not the only path, but a viable path to use. Anna is a big card for them, because if they control her actions, or if they control at least what is perceived as being her actions, what she's doing in Gilead, if they control her image, they have some, little bit of control over June and over Luke. And by now, June is an important player for the US Army, and Luke is an actual leader. He's leading the movement with Mayday, and he's going with them to lead them to wreak havoc in Gilead, in New York, and wherever the hell they went. So if they can use Anna to get to these two people, it would be one little card to get to two sides of the revolution, the US Army and Mayday. Come on. They have to be smart enough to realize that Hannah playing Hannah and trying to, I don't know, spy on her, manipulate her, whatever the hell it is a good way to play the game to get to the revolution. So I think that Aunt Lydia might be put back in a position of power because they're probably, I mean, they have to know that Aunt Lydia helped Janine get Charlotte. They have to know that she was involved with that. They have to know that she is on their side in some capacity, or helped them in some capacity, or is sympathetic towards them in some capacity. And if they know that Aunt Lydia was responsible or involved in getting Charlotte out, even if they don't know, even if they don't know, they can suspect her, because how would they explain that? The rebels got here and took her. Sure, Aunt Lydia, sure, we're going to believe anyone who survived the rebels. Because, I mean, they would take them as well, or kill them, or do something to them. They wouldn't just leave them behind, or I don't know if they would. But I feel like they will be suspicious about Lydia. And regardless of whether they can get her to be loyal to them again or not, or they think they can or not, I think they will send her there to the school where Anna is, or to the Red Center where Anna is posted as an aunt. I think they will send Aunt Lydia there because they're going to expect her to do the same thing she did for Charlotte, to find a way to get her out or something like that. And they're going to be spying on them, hardcore spying on them, to try to get to June, to Mark, to the US Army, and to Mayday. And honestly, if they don't do it, they're kind of dumb. This is kind of where I'm thinking this story could go, and like the reasoning behind Aunt Lydia getting back to a position of power in Gilead. But I also need to read the book, and I will somewhere within the next month. If you're not up to date with my booktube channel, I'm currently in a decently bad, like reasonably bad reading slump. So I don't know when I'm going to get to the Testaments. I think my way to the Testaments is going to be through listening to the Murderbot audiobooks. We'll see. Okay, but what are the Testaments, right? What's the story? From what I know, what I've read online and on Wikipedia, I'm so sorry, you guys. I'm so sorry, but the information was organized there, okay? The Testaments takes place, well, in the Testament book, it's 15 years later, but in the show, it's going to be 4 years later. And it follows Hannah and Nicole / Holly, who is named Daisy in the book. But I don't think it's going to be Holly, because Holly is like with June. Unless they kidnap her back. But even if they kidnap her back, she's gonna be like, what, 6, 7 years old? So I don't think it's gonna be Nicole. Actually, the actress for Daisy has been cast already, and she's like a teenager. Let me check. Okay, I can't figure out what age she is, but she's a kid. She's like preteen, teen. She's not an adult, but she's also not a child. So I don't think the Daisy in the show is going to be the same Daisy in the book, because the Daisy in the book is actually Nicole, Holly. So they probably have a different story for who Daisy really is, because 4 years pass between the finale and the Testaments, so it can't be Holly / Nicole. It has to be someone else. But anyway, the story is with Agnes and other young women, and with Daisy. Daisy is from Canada. She's being raised, because in the book I think June and Luke are dead, so she's being raised by random people, and these random people are allies of Mayday. So Daisy, at one point when she's like 16, she poses as like a poor little girl on the streets that can be rescued by the missionary aunts from Gilead. Like the fact that Atwood would use like savior missionaries to kidnap women and take them to Gilead. Beautiful. But anyway, Daisy comes with the great missionaries to Gilead, and she's infiltrating Gilead. She's like part of Mayday, and eventually all these people like come together, Daisy from Canada, the girls from Gilead who are turning against Gilead, including Agnes, who is Anna, and Aunt Lydia. They all figure out that they are all like working towards the same thing, which is the abolishment, the death of Gilead, the fall of Gilead. And at some point, they have like this very incriminating information that they need to smuggle out of the country. And this is where they all like birds of prey together and smuggle the information out of the country. And that's how Gilead falls. This is a very basic summary from someone who hasn't read the book, but read a paragraph on Wikipedia. So all of these characters, and there's also like, an important commander who is, I'm pretty sure, Hannah's father in Gilead, who is in the story a lot because like his wife dies and then he remarries a evil stepmother or something. So like the cast is going to get a lot of new faces, but the recurrent ones are going to be Lydia. I think Hannah is going to be recast as an older actress, and Daisy is going to be very important as well. So they are already making changes from the book, with the time jump being smaller, certain characters not being certain characters. So I think they could make a lot of other changes and give a lot of other context to the characters. And Lydia is one of the ones that's going to need them, because we need to understand how she gets to the point where she was aligning with a rebellion in a very public way at the end of The Handmaid's Tale, and where she is in the Testaments, where she is again in a position of power as an aunt in Gilead. I haven't heard anyone talking about this, like giving theories as to how Lydia is going to, be put back in power. And I just remembered that someone kept commenting on my videos that Nick was given like the position of a commander as a punishment. And I don't know, I feel like they could do the same to Lydia, put her back in a school for ants or in a red center so that she can continue to abuse the women that are being abused by the system, as a way to punish her, but at the same time to control her movements, see where she is, who she's talking to, what kind of plot she's making, so that they can get to June and Mayday and the US Army and blah, blah, blah. So yeah, I hope whatever explanation they give us for those last few actions from Lydia's side and how she's going to get the trust back from Gilead, whatever the explanation, I just hope it's sound and it's not just like completely overlooking. I hope they address it. I hope they address it and don't completely overlook it. But yeah, the show probably will come back next year. I mean, there's no release date. They're not saying it, but probably. So I'll be here in a year, in a spring of 2026, to review the Testaments with you. By then, I would have read the book already, and I will be one of those annoying book people who says, it was... No, I won't. I won't. I don't care that much about adaptations. I think adaptations are generally like a cool thing, even if they change a lot of stuff from the books, because they are adaptations. It's like a replica in video format or in film format. It's an adaptation. Anyway, this is all I have for you today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and let me know in the comments what like your expectations. Oh my god, I was forgetting to talk about this. Other characters that we might see in The Handmaid's Tale. I hope we see occasionally June and Luke, so that we can be updated on their fight on the Mayday and the US Army side. I hope we hear like news in little bits and pieces. I hope we hear news of the war and if they're gaining ground or losing ground or whatever it is. I hope we have those snippets. I don't think we won't see Moira for sure. The actress said she wouldn't do it. I don't think we will see Rita. I don't think we will see Emily. I really want to see Mark. And I think we could see Mark because if Aunt Lydia is working for the US Army, they're going to have to need a rendezvous every now and then. So I think we will see Mark. And I really hope the infiltrated aunt, the CIA agent, returns and is again infiltrated somewhere else. Either with Aunt Lydia or in another place, maybe at the school with Hannah where she's learning to be an aunt. I would appreciate that very much, thank you. Maybe that's where she gets connections with the US Army or Mayday. It's through that school where she sees that aunt. Anyway, I would love to see all the characters back, but I mean, we're not going to see like that much of them. The show is clearly about Hannah and Hannah's point of view and Lydia's point of view. But I hope we get like occasions to see them. And yeah, I'm excited. You know what? I'm excited to see what they're going to show us of Lydia's backstory, because I know, well, from your comments, guys, thank you very much, that Aunt Lydia was a judge at one point before Gilead, and she was hardcore rejected by a man, and that's how she became very bitter about the sluts of the world. So I kind of hope we get to see that backstory, like the villain origin story where she became this very salty person who is okay with oppressing women. I really hope we see that, and I want to see her being trained, because I know from the Wikipedia page. I'm so sorry, you guys. I know that when she was trained to be an aunt, it was pretty brutal and horrible. I hope we see it. Not because it's pretty brutal and horrible, because I want to know what happened. But yeah, guys, that's what I have for you today. This time, it's what I have for you. I need to make shorter videos. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video and my delusional little theory about how Lydia could be welcomed again in Gilead, which is not welcomed at all, but played. And yeah, I will read the book and then come back to you and make a video about it. I don't know if it's going to be a video review of the book, if it's just going to be like me making predictions of what they're going to change and what could still happen and whatever, but I will absolutely read the book and make a video about it. So yeah, I will see you then. In the meantime, if you want to support my channel and the work that I do here, you can like the video, comment, subscribe, join my YouTube membership, or join my Patreon. And yeah, I will see you tomorrow with finally my Criminal Minds theory. I've been talking about this for days, and you'll see it tomorrow. If you're watching this in 5 years, why are you watching this in 5 years? Anyway, guys, see you tomorrow. Bye.